value. So we're going to illustrate it so that we see how it will be. So take an example, we want to fill in the length of road, like each road we have within the study area. We're looking at how long is the road. So, and we don't want to use the shape length that is general. We want to have our own shape type. Okay, this road we need it between maybe 2 meter and 2,000 meters. That's 2 kilometer. All right. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So, and also code a domain entirely applied both to a future class and to also a future class, the geodatabase, sorry, and a future class. So we can apply uh, a domain to a geodatabase by right clicking, and then you go to domain straight up. So here you can do the same thing which can be done, but we want to apply it on the road itself, which is what we're looking at. All right. So sometimes it's best you go specific to what you're using. You can add others under it, but let's say you're doing that for a point or for other features, depending on what you want to do. So we're going to apply it on the road layer itself. So right click, go to properties, and then we have this field as length, and we're using the double field. All right, that's we're using the data type is double, so that we will go to subtypes and to domains. So under domains, I just decided to write a length name, and description I said the road length. All right. So, and we're still using double here as our field type, and it's on range. All right. So let's take it back to range. So, and then the minimum value is 2 meters, and the maximum value is 2,000 meters. Okay. So once we have that figured out, we say okay. Now that we've okayed it, okay here, we're going back to the fill tab, and then we're going to click here. Once we click on this, it's going to bring out a domain. So if we click on this place, it's going to give us a length which we have in that place. So once we click on it, okay. Now we will bring out the road layer. All right. Now this road layer, we will right click. I think we've not even digitized, just a road that is still on creation. So we right click and go to the attribute. Okay, there's no road. So let's create some road. So let's create some road. So now we have this attribute here of all of this. Now, if I click here now and I type in 2, which is within the length, I type in 22, is still within. I type in 330, is still within the length. Now let's say I type in even 2,000, is still within the acceptable restriction. Now let's say I type in 3,000. Oh, sorry, I made a mistake. So before you come into filling this, you click on this place and come down to appearance, and then you check automatically validate record when editing. All right, so you click on OK. Now If I impute 3,000 and I remove my hand, is it 3,000? I think, let's put, sorry. Now look at what he's saying. Warning, the specific value is not within the range domain for this field. Valid values are between 2 and 2,000. So you cannot type beyond the maximum value you've imputed, and you cannot type below the maximum value you've imputed. So range domain just helps you to put them between a range of which you put, okay, the minimum and the maximum. So in between, from your minimum value to your maximum value, but it should not be below your minimum value and should not be below above your maximum value. So this is, I believe, this is how maximum range domain is applied, and then you can think of any form of application to which you apply this in your GIS work. So I believe this little days we've spent on the concept of domains and shape and subtypes have sharpened your eyes. So we'll be doing more in depth in the ArcGIS Pro in the coming days, because ArcGIS Pro has also a vast knowledge of giving the practical knowledge for this type. All right, so I will see you in those subsequent videos, but don't forget to always stay with Elijah Spatial. Like, subscribe, share, and recommend this channel to someone. Thank you for tuning in today. I will see you in the next one. So from the last class, we looked at the lecture on subtypes and domains. We've looked at it as subtypes being a set of features that share some or same attributes. Each of these subtypes is defined to provide other fields with the correct attribute information. Now, this includes the domain and the default values. Now, subtypes are most useful in situations in which the attributes in your data are linked to other attributes. Now, an instance whereby you have a street and then other, more like categorization, or should I say, we create a drop down of options where you can select from. All right. So there are two ways of doing that. So we're going to solve those two in this video. All right, so let's get into ArcGIS, because I think it will be more clearer when we perform that. So the first one is, let's say you have transportation, for example, and you can put all of those other ones under what do they call, under future data set, or you can categorize them under subtypes, which we will go on to trying that. So let's assume we want to create a road network for ABU. So we'll come down to this future class, no, the geodatabase. Then we'll go to new and future class. So we're going to have just road. Okay. Now road is a line future. So we go next. ABU is in Kaduna and Kaduna is in zone 32. So we go next. Now here we will have, let's use subtypes to generalize this. Then here we're going to choose short integer. Okay. Then we'll click finished. We'll remove this. We go back here, and then this time around we'll right click on this and go to properties, and then we go to subtypes. Then we select this. Now under here we could list all the types of road that are found in ABU. which I know we have main road or major road. So I'm just going to say RD, all right? We have minor road, underscore road, RD. Then we have footpath, those created by students and staff and all that. So we just say path. All right, so these are the major classification we have under that. So if we click on apply or OK now, and then we bring this road in, you're going to see a classification, not a drop down now, but a classification of those things. Meaning, if I import a satellite imagery, or I won't even import it, I just start editor. All right, so editor is going to start. Now, when you come to this create future, you're going to have it named as main road, minor road, footpath. So whichever you want to digitize, you click and then you come and digitize. So if you digitize this like this and you stop it, this will be recorded as a main road. If you click on this and you digitize, you end, this will be recorded as minor road. If you do same here, this will be recorded as footpath. Now this saves you creating multiple shape files instead of just creating one and subtypes them. All right, so it's kind of enables you to do that. So this is the first example. Now the second example, let's stop this. All right, the second example is a case whereby you have buildings. So these are basically academic buildings, and we want to create a subtypes. So let's right click on the academic and go to attribute table. On the attribute table, I'm just going to create a new field. I'm going to name it purpose. What purpose? Though I know, this is a case whereby, let's say you have all the buildings together, like academic and all that. So I'm just going to put it as short integer, and I'm going to OK. Let me leave this as double. Let me leave it as double, and then I'm going to click OK. All right. So now I'm coming into this academic. Right click, go to properties. So I'm going to go to the field type to be sure this is there. So the purpose is there and it's double. You can change this data type anywhere. All right, so you can change it anytime. Oh, sorry, I don't think so. So let's leave it at double. But basically, let's go to subtypes. Oh, my bad. So let's go back. My bad, I made a mistake. So let's correct that mistake. So we're going to delete this. We'll recreate the field. So new field, add field, and we name it purpose. The purpose is, we know that what purpose is this serving, all right? So let's leave this and let's go back here. So right click and go to properties. So under subtypes, now it will appear. So it means if you do not use short integer, you will not see this. All right. So here We're going to name them as we did before. 1, academic. 2, residence. 3, commercial. 4, multi-purpose. This just fly my head, not as if I have anything planned. It just fly my head. Multi-purpose. Oh, sorry. Multi-purpose. All right. So let's say we have this, and then we just click on OK. All right. So now, right click and come back to attribute table. So we navigate to the purpose side, and then we start our editor. Now, if I click on each of these now, there is a drop down button where I can select if this is for academic, if this is for residence, and if this is for commercial. Are you getting it? Are you getting it? So this is another way you could create a subtype and use it for this. So I believe this practical should give you an insight. If there's any question at all, please drop it at the comment section. And then if you have a better understanding of it, since we're learning together, you also drop it so that others can learn, myself can learn from there. So basically, this is all that I have to show for subtypes. I'll see you in the next video where we'll practicalize that of domains, and domains will have 2 more videos because we're going to do that of range domain and coded domain. So stay tuned, and don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and recommend this channel to someone. I will see you in the next video. Data sourcing and data collection are very important in any GIS operation. So finding where to get this data or what to aid you not going to start from scratch or not taking much of your time becomes very paramount. Today we're going to be looking at some of the way we can ease some of this button, some of the sites we can download some certain data that will be required in GIS operation. Take for example, you are to digitize a whole state, a whole country, a whole locality or anything. Now, but if you can find a place where you can easily get some of these data, that will go a long way in making your work go faster and go easier. But depending on what you're going to use and the accuracy the requirement of the data also really matters in this case. So this is not good for beginners in GIS because this will make them lazy. They will not really learn what they're supposed to learn. All right. So this is not too good for beginners in GIS. So we're going to be learning how to download most of those data. And the site we're going to be using is GeoFabric. GeoFabric with a K. So Geo, G O G E O Fabric. All right. So we're going to. So the website is geofabric.de. So click download. So it becomes download.geofabric.de. All right. So now once you enter, you will see that it's going to group the whole world into regions, sub-regions. We have Africa, we have Antarctica, we have Asia, Australia, and Oceania. We have Central America, Europe, North America, South America, right? So depending on which of the continent your work fall in. So mine fall in Africa because I am in Africa, all right? And what I'm working on is in Africa. So I'm going to click on Africa. Now, once you click on Africa, all the countries within Africa is going to pop up. So you see the list, all right? So I'm going to go with Nigeria. So once I click on Nigeria, it's going to, that means what I want to download here will cover Nigeria, right? So everything that I download, it's going to cover country by country. So it's not going to be a state wise. So it's going to be country wise. All right. So now here, when you come down, you see commonly used file formats. We have Nigeria latest OSM. We have all about what we need to download is this Nigeria latest free.shapefile zip. Now, these data are updated daily. If we check this very one, we see that it was modified 12 hours ago. So it's a total of 1.7 gigabytes. So this data consists of a whole lot of data, from the road to railway to water bodies to rivers to built-ups and locality, different things, schools, all utilities. You can find them, filling stations, hospitals, everything you can find within this data. But it's more cluster on urban area. That is, there are more data in urban areas. For example, now Abuja, Lagos, these are places you're going to find enough informations, because these data are open source OSM. So the more people fit in, the more updates we get. So I cannot attest for the accuracy of this data, but I know that you can quite use it for a day-to-day analysis depending on the accuracy required. So once you have reached this point, you just click on this. So if you have IDM, it's going to pop up and it's going to start downloading. All right, so basically this is how to download this data. I already have it, so I'm just going to pause or remove it. But I'm going to now demonstrate a little of this data on my ArcGIS. So I'm going to go here and so I'm going to, this is it, Nigerian latest free shapefile. So I double click on it. Now these are the data available. We have buildings 1 and 2. Now some of the one cover a part of Nigeria, the 2 cover the other part of Nigeria. All right, so let me add and see. Though it's quite heavy, but let's see. So you can see it building up here. So you see it's popping up. It's heavy, so it's popping up on so you see it's popping up, popping up, popping up. So, and I believe you are seeing that. So it's heavy, so I didn't want to make my system go slow, but you can see that it's building up here small small. Now let me bring in places. Now you can see the place I brought is the point. Okay, so you can see these are places across Nigeria. If I click on label, now you're going to see the label renaming things, but it's quite heavy, like I said. So you see these are name of places, localities within the country. So this data has it, but mind you, like I said, this data I cannot attest for the accuracy of it, because I will use this data for a work in my state, and I could realize that some of the spellings are not correct. So we had to manually resort to fixing some of those ones, but you can find it very useful and you make adjustment to it to refine data. All right, then we have waterways, water bodies across the country, and we have
place of interest across the country. This place of interest, schools are inclusive, different things, mosques, church, and a lot of other things are inclusive in this um, point of interest. So you can see you have UBA ATM, different things you can see. All right. So PHC, PhD, that's I don't know whether it's primary health care. I believe so. So you'll see different things within this data. So this data have proved over and over to be very useful to me in aiding me to do some of the things that I will have easily have to digitize. These are the railway that are available in the country right now. And then finally we have the road networks. So this is the road network available in Nigeria. This may not correspond with maybe the image you are using or whatever, but this will help you in one way or the other to fast forward what you're doing. All right, so this is all I want to share today. So I believe I will be sharing more of this thing as I come across them. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. This remains Elite Geospatial.
Hello and welcome. In this video, we're going to create shapefile in less than 2 minutes in QGIS. So to do that, you just go to layer and you'll see create layer, or you go to shapefile. You just quickly come here and then you click on new, and then it comes up. So you first select the name. What kind of shapefile are you creating? So let's say I want to create school, the name of the shapefile, and then what part of is the point is a polygon. If you have an additional like a Z, you check on it and then you change the coordinate system. Then in school, what are the basic database information? We have names. I'll click on add. What again? We have maybe like places. I don't have an L, so I'm going to leave it at paste. Then you click on add. So as many of them that you have, you just add those future. Those are names you're going to fill, like the fields you'll be filling in. So once you're okay with that, you click on okay. So your future point is created so your shapefile is created as point. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello and welcome to Elite Geospatial, and today we'll be looking at the overview of QGIS. QGIS is an open source GIS software. The Q in it stands for Quantum GIS. So it's an open source. It gives you the right to download, install, and do everything without license. Alright, so we're just going to basically look at the overview of this, getting you acquainted with the interface of the software. And the version of this current software is version 3.4.0, 3.4T.9. That's the current version that I'm using right now, right? So anytime you're looking for anything of such, you want to look at the API documentation, Python API documentation, the plugins and all of that, you go to help, which you're seeing here. And then I had already closed down most of everything so that we will bring them out together. Now I will be starting up with, what if you want to bring out your toolbar, because you're supposed to have plenty tools here, so I've off all of them. So you just basically come to view, and then you come down here, you see toolbar. These are all the various toolbar that are available on QGIS. So anyone you bring, if you bring out the raster tool, is going to come out. So you see the raster tools here. If I go back and bring out the level 2, it will come out. So those are the tools that are coming up now. Now that is how you can bring out your tool, and you can also take them away by coming to uncheck this, and it will go. Okay, so this will help you organize your workspace based on your liking and how you want it to be, so that it doesn't overcrowd anywhere and all of that. So the tools you need, you bring them. The ones you don't need, you remove them. Okay, so next we want to do the panels, various panels. We have like the browser, Now here is where all the browser stuff are. Now we have the so here we have under this we have our base map, which we have either this. If you double click on this, it's going to come out, or you double click on this, it's going to come out. This is more like a terrain, and this is the open street, which are the default. If you can also double click on any of these, and they will all come out, you know. So we have the vector tiles, we have the scene, so they're all available under the uh the browser tabs or the browser panel. Now if we go under the panel again, we have a browser called just normal browser. So we have it, this is browser 1 and this browser 2. They are basic the same thing. So I don't know why it's split into 1 and 2. So let's remove 1. So let's go back to pan again, and let's say we want to bring in our layer. So either it's just a layer or layer order, or all of them are available just here, layers. This will now show what we've brought in so far. So if I right click, I could either, that is on the layer, and if I right click, I could either remove or I could go to the, I could duplicate layer, I could change data source, I could set layer scale visibility, and then I could also look at the table of content or the properties. I could look at all of that. So here you have the symbology, the source, the symbology, your rendering, it's either a temporal and the elevation. So you look at a lot of things. Then legend. So you could look at also a lot of things under the properties. Okay. So let's get them removed so that we could continue. Okay, so we also have under the view, under the toolbox, we have the project and all those other tools. Like I said, anything you're looking for, you just come down here and bring it up. So the tool will appear here. All right. So another thing is, you want to add anything to favorite, you just right click and click on add directory, and then you select the folder and you add it to favorite. It's gonna be there for you. So under project, you want to create a new project, you want to create it from a create a new from template. If you have a template, you want to open the project, if it's a previous project you want to open, you open recent or open from either a geo package or a progress or oracle. You could do that. You could also save, you could save as, save to, and then their properties you can import and export. You can new print layout, new report, all of that you can do them under here. Even the models you can do it. The layout, you want to create a layout for whatever you want to do, you can do that from the project. The edit tab is where you can select. You have select by polygon, select by freehand, select by radius, select by value, select by expression, select all layers, select features from current active layer. So all of that can be done under the edit tab, and then you can also paste feature as a new layer, a vector layer, and then you have text annotation, form annotation, HTML annotation, SVG annotation. So under the view tab, we also have the 3D maps. You go to create a new 3D maps, and then you pan, you zoom in, zoom out, summarize, all of those things. You just need to check them through and see what are available on each. So the layer, now you can create a new layout under which you will be able to create shape files, create a geo package and all of that. Then also new GPX, something from all of these GPS coordinates or from the GPS. That's what is the GPX and all of that. So you can get that directly done here. And you can also georeference from the layer under this georeferencer. That will help you to georeference and all of that. Then the settings is where you looked at the interface customization, and then options to look at. Okay, what I want. So you see, these are all the things you have. I don't know if you are going to. This is what will help you to save them on a default. Also, I don't know. So if use as default, I think so. Use from layer. So if you use it as a default, anytime you bring anything here, that becomes the default coordinate system. This very one you just set now, but I think it's best you use the other one. So anything you set here will become like the default and all of that. So the plugins now, under the tool from here we have the plugin tabs, the toolbar. Yeah, we have the pan, not the. Oh, it's on the toolbar. We have the plugin toolbox. So it should come out. Yes. Did it come out? Yes, the plugin toolbox. I've removed it. So now under the plugin you have where you manage and install plugins. If you know QGIS very well, it's basically more of plugin based. You can download as many plugins to do virtually everything you want to do, because it allows community to build in their own plugins and all of that. So you can go to manage, and then it's connecting them to fetch repository and gives you all the plugins that you can see as many plugins. You just select the one that will do what you want to do and then download it. Okay, batch GPS importer, batch this, batch that. So as many plugins are available here. So he used those plugins. These are the ones that are not installed. You can also install from zip. You can also set, and then these are all plugins and all of that. So I have quite a number of some also. These are the plugins I have installed for what I want to do, but quite a number of plugins can be installed and all of that. So this is where you manage and install whatever you want to do, and that will be all. We have an artificial intelligence forecasting, remote sensing. So this is that tab will help you do all of that. So the vector layer, we have the geoprocessing tool, as you know, from ArcGIS, where you do buffer, you clip, convex hull. Maybe we'll get to know about this when we start here. The difference, dissolve, intersection, and symmetrical difference, union. They also have the geometry tools and all of that. We have the multi-part to single part. We have the linear triangulation, polygon to line. All of that can be done here. Then analysis, where we count points in polygon, linear, intersection, mean coordinate, nearest neighbor. All of those analyses that you will get them at the vector and all of that. So we have the data management tool, which is create spatial index, vector match vector layers, reproject layers. All of these are been programmed under the vector layer. And then the raster, we have the raster calculator, just as in ArcGIS and in any other of the GIS software. Then we have the analysis, where we do aspect, field node data, basically where you bring in a Landsat imagery, especially Landsat 4 that has Landsat 7, sorry, that has scan line errors, which you'll be able to fill this using the analysis tab, and then go to field node data. You'll be able to do that. And then we have the grid, we have the inverse distance to a power. We have the hill shade, we have near black, proximity, roughness, steep slope, topographic position index, TPI, sorry. Then we have terrain ruggedness index. So once you click on this, basically you'll be able to bring in the raster and you do all of that. So basically this all analysis can be done under the raster tab. Then we have the projection, you assign projection, you extract projection, and then the miscellaneous, you build virtual raster information, build overview, conversion, we have PCT to RGB, and then we have polygonize, raster to vector, rasterize, vector to raster, RGB to PCT, and then translate, convert format, align, raster. All of those are under this place. You get to position all of these things. The database, we have the 3D CTDB tools, which we have the layer loader, we have the bulk deleter, QGIS package administrator, and all of that. Then the web is when you like those plugins I saw you from here. You can see some of them here. We have the meta search, we have the QGIS to 3GIS. This is for when you want to make it a 3D. And then we have the quick map services, which is also a plugin that I installed. Then the mesh, we have mesh calculator. Then ArcGIS, we have the useful link and all of that. Under processing, we have the toolbox. If you click on this toolbox, you see basically all the tools that are available. We have the vector analysis. We have the vector creation. All of those tools that are needed in QGIS are all found under the processing tools and in toolbox. Then we have the model designer history, basically like goes through history of things that have been done on this system. You can see most of what I've used QGIS to do are basically filling of Landsat. This is the last 7 days filling of Landsat 7 data. And then the help, which was also beginning, is where you check all of these things. You want to know about these people, the developers of this software. They're all found here. What's new? All the versions that are available, providers, developers, contributors, and then donors, translators that have translated to all of these, then donors, then license, and all of that. So basically, this is the entire interface of the software. It's more like it's an open source, but more like ArcGIS Pro, whereby everything is in one. In ArcGIS Pro, we have the 3D scene, we have the 2D, all of them are combined into one. So it's the same thing here. So all of these are part and parcel of what you will be able to use QGIS to do. Is actually, especially for those who wants to it's either an NGO individual who want to use a software without having to worry about license. This is a free go-to for you to go on. So I think we will stop here for now as we proceed to take them one by one, beginning to explain all of those tools and what we can achieve with QGIS. So, but then we will call it a day, and I will see you in the next video. But before we go, don't forget to like, share, comment, and always subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Once again, welcome to LI Geospatial. Today we are going to look at how to delete field on an attribute table and QGIS. So assuming you have a whole bunch of fields that you no longer want and you want to delete them, so what you need to do is to right click and then you go to on the data, then you go to open attribute table. Then on attribute table, you toggle this on. You just toggle this on and it will come back on. So you click on, you see this place that said delete? Yes, you click on it. Now it's going to ask you which field do you want to delete. So if I want to delete the population field we created in the last video, I will select it. I want to delete this area, I will select it, click on this. So let's assume I want to delete everything. Just click on OK. So you see, everything gone. So this is how you can easily delete field. And that's it for today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Hello and welcome back to Elite Geospatial, and today we are going to be handling domains and subtypes. So, what do we understand by domains and subtypes? Domains and subtypes are components of future layers and future classes that can be used to constrain or define fields in your datasets. ArcGIS Insights support using dataset and fields that have a domain or subtypes defined. Domains itself now. What is domain? Domains are used to describe the value accepted in a field. Only values or ranges of values that have been deemed valid can be used as input in a field where a domain is applied. Therefore, domains are an important resource for maintaining data integrity,
especially when data is being collected in the field by many workers. Now, basically, there are two types of domain that can be assigned to a field. Now, the coded value domain and the range domain. Coded value domains. Coded value domains specify a valid set of values that can be used in the field. A coded value domain consists of codes that will be saved in the dataset and user-friendly description that can correspond to each code. Similar to a reference table, for example, an electrical utility provide a map of outages to maintain consistent information and style on the map. The status field has a domain applied with accepted status value. The following table is an example of the code and description that could be applied to the status field. Now, code A, description, out of service. Code B, dispatched. Code C, planned outage. Now, with this, you could easily, instead of typing anyway, you just select. It creates more like a drop-down box for those who have used GUI before, graphic user interface. You can actually create a drop-down. Most of the software we use has like a drop-down. So this drop-down will help you to just select out, maybe if it is code A, which is out of service, you just make a selection. If it's code B, dispatch, and all that. So domains actually helped in making you feel like it does not accept anything that is not within that range. That's why we have the coded, which is either it is 1, 2, 3, depending on the code you assign to it, or A, B, C, depending on the code you assign to it. All right. I hope this is the theoretical part of it, but I believe with a few minutes of practical, we'll decipher this. All right. So just follow me and let's ride on. Now, the range domains. Range domains are available for numbers and dates and specify the minimum and maximum values accepted in the field. Data entries outside the range will not be accepted in the field. For example, a public works department must do annual inspection for all the fire hydrants in the city. The normal pressure range for the hydrant is between 50 and 120 PSC. A range domain can be created with a minimum value of 50 and a maximum value of 120. Now, the domain can then be applied to the pressure field, so only values within that range can be entered. Any value outside 50 and 120 can't be entered. It's more like a constraint. If you read from the very paragraph, it's a constraint we apply to data. Okay, it's between this and this, or within this type and that type. So any hydrant that do not have pressure values in that range will fail the inspection. Now that has helped you, instead of just putting different things. Now it has helped. This is the acceptance value between 50 and 120. So any value that is not within this has failed the inspection. Any value within this has passed the inspection. Subtypes. Now we established from introduction that the domain and the subtypes are components that are interchangeably but very important to each other. So what is now this subtypes itself? Subtypes are a set of features that share the same attributes. Each subtype is defined to provide other fields with the correct attribute information, including domain and default values. Subtypes are most useful in situations in which the attributes in your data are linked to other attributes. For example, street subtype could include residential, arterial, and highway. Each of these subtypes could also have an associated default speed limit. So basically, subtypes are like you're trying to more like a categorization. You try to like categorize it such that okay, roads now we have major roads, minor road, highway, artillery, residential, and all that. Now on the resident in the on the streets subtypes now we have residential, arterial, and highways. So basically, these two uh, things helps us to understand more of our data in ArcGIS. Now, the ArcGIS desktop has a way of performing it, while the ArcGIS Pro has another way of performing it. So we will look at the two of them practically so that I believe you understand more from what we just did, the theoretical aspect. But let's look at the case study we have here. A database table with city on water pipes has a type field that accepts subtypes. Two subtypes. Now, don't forget when we say subtype, we categorize things under it. Now, these two subtypes are main and service pipe. Each subtype defines a set of rules for the material field and the diameter. The status field has a separate domain that is not linked to either subtypes. So this is a case study, but we may not use this very specific case study for our practical. I will use a more realistic and related terms to uh, geomatics geomatics, so that it will, because when we talk of electrical appliance, these are more terms that we may not really see its applicability in geomatics. So I'm going to use a more realistic, but basically this is an example of how subtypes and domain can be applied. Now, I just wanted to have an insight of where you understand this theory, not that we just learn the software without the shiri behind them. All right. So, this is just a little thing I put together. This is from the S3 site. This is a reference that I picked from them. This article is in their website. You could go through it and have a better understanding. So I'm going to have a practical session demonstrating subtypes and also demonstrate domain. So watch out for the next two videos that will come out for the continuation of this lecture. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, recommend this channel to another person, and keep watching Eli Geospatial. Hello and welcome to Remote Sensing 201, and this is Elite Geospatial. Starting off this month, we're going to be looking at how to mosaic Landsat imagery. We've done just maybe when you have two line scenes, but now we want to do 3, 4, 5 land scenes that you need to mosaic. And most of the times when you try this, it gives you some haphazard set, but we just have to try what we can do. So today we'll be using ArcGIS imaging to perform these tasks. And any of the ArcGIS imaging as far as from 2011 is good because they have similar interface as this one. But I am using ArcGIS imaging 2022 to perform these tasks. So once you turn on you launch your ArcGIS imaging, the next place to go to is to go to raster. So while on raster, you see a mosaic directly under the raster for this version. So you click on the drop down button and then you will see Mosaic Pro. So you click on it. So it's like another software inside the ArcGIS. So it will launch out like this. So once it is done like this, you see this arrow that pointed. This means you should import the image. So I'll click on it and I will navigate to the folder
containing my data. So I'm going to enter this data set and this layer stack. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the study area I'm trying to work on covers these 5 Landsat scenes. So I need to mosaic it to in order to be able to come out with my extent. So I'll just highlight all of them and click OK. Now they are in here. So what you need to do is under this visible, you're going to click on all of this. Going to click on all of this, and you're going to click on this. So it's going to display raster. So it will display all of them. All right, so it's going to display all of them. So we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so this has been displayed. These are the Landsat scenes we have. Now what you need to do next is, you see this this very thing that is looking like it automatically generates sim lines for intersection. Now how do you want the whole thing to intersect? Now if we try out all of them first and see. So if we click on this weighted sim line, we click on OK, you see what it's going to say. So you now make a choice based on which one. What they're talking about is that you see these ages. Now look at it. Now this age. Okay, let me remove that line that is on it. Give me a minute. And this. All right. This. So you see what I'm saying? Like this kind of line, it's going like haphazard or something. That's what this thing will be doing. So the overlap. Let's try this most nada whatever that is. This one you see is going to create. I get in what I'm saying. So you try all of them to see which one fits into the very image you're using. So under geometric, see this is also geometric one. So let's go to overlap and try it. You see what this one is doing. This one is just making sense at all. So let's try the optimal sim line and see. So basically sometimes this optimal uh, option used to delay, so I don't know, maybe we'll just go ahead and process it so that we could see only the final output. All right, so if I see, if I click, it's not delaying. But so if that's the case, once it gives us chance, we'll go ahead and process it so that we just see the final result. All right. Okay, I think it has given us the result. All right, but basically look at, let me remove this so that you see what. Okay, now do you see? See, even though it's haphazard, but everywhere is covered. Now, I think for me, this is the best choice for this, since the area I'm using has a coverage to somewhere around here. All right, so because of these ages, I think this choice is better. So once we have this, we could go to process, either this process and run, or we come here and do the same things. We can process it from here or here. So, but let's go on the process, then run mosaic. So here it's just going to ask you for output. So let's insert 20 to 11. Let me add one since I already have one there already. Okay, so it's going to start processing. I'll be back when the process finishes. All right, so it's at 5%. So I will back when the process finishes. So I'm back. I guess it's done. So we see that it's showing 100%. So let's close this and let's leave this one on and then go check out how our mosaic is. All right. So to bring it in, you just go to File and you will see it. That's one way. Or second way is to right click within any of these. You just right click and then you go to raster layer and then you import it. So where did we keep it? Test, data set, and this. Oh my god, my battery. So I may not be able to preview this for you, but so I guess this is it. And thank you for watching this video. Let me hurry it up to stop it before my battery finish. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one. Welcome back to Elite Geospatial. So in the last video, we look at how to download from the website GeoFabric, right? So we all know that GeoFabric is an open source, that's OSM. All right. So we also know that QGI is also is a product of this OSM. So we can actually do that download from our QGIS software. So I just wanted to show you that. All right. So before you will be able to do that, first and foremost, you'll go to your plugins and under manage and install plugins. Why is there version data? Or let's wait for it a little bit. Okay, so under these plugins, let's search for a name of this thing, HCMGIS. So you search for it and under installed. Okay, I've installed it, that's why. So you see, if it was not installed, if you come under install, you see it. But since I've installed it, it's here. Now, once you have it, if you don't have it, you see here install. But here it's telling me to reinstall the plugins. But if you don't have it, you install it first. Once you've done that, you see that it will appear here. Though I'm in version 3.38, so I don't know of yours. Maybe if it's not showing, maybe you tell us so that we know where yours is appearing. So you click on it and then you go to download open data. Now when you come to download open data, you're going to see OSM data by country from GeoFabric. So you click on it. Now you see that from the site, once we click on this, it takes us to this. Here an interface has been provided where we select regions. So if you click, you still see those Africa, Antarctica, Asia that we saw on their site. Now I'll choose Africa. Now select country. So you will find which of the country is your own. So mine is Nigeria, so I'm going to locate Nigeria. Now there's also a provision for state and province, but that is not it's not selectable. So which means it's still the country data we're going to download at the end of the day. So once you've seen that, the next thing is to select where you want this data saved. So we navigate to where we are comfortable to save this data, and then we say yes, select folder. Now once you've done that, all that is left is for you to apply. So it's telling me estimated shapefile size is a 1841.25 MB. Downloading may take some time. You accept,
Click on yes. Now it's going to prepare this data. I'm going to start download from here to here. Once it's downloaded, you're going to still see it as the other one. So basically, this is another way you can get this data downloaded. And I believe you watched that previous video to the end. You saw the little demonstration of the kind of data that are available on that download. So if you don't like the other one, you can use this one. So it's a matter of choice. Mine here is to provide you with as many choices as possible so that you can have your GIS experience seamless. All right, thank you for tuning in and watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and recommend this channel to someone. I will see you in the next video. From here now, bye bye.
Hello and welcome to Elite Geospatial. Today we're going to be looking at how to create parcel fabric. Alright, so to create parcel fabric, you need to have a folder created. So I'm going to be using Abuja as a folder. And then you need to create a file geodatabase. So you right click on the folder you are using, and then you go down to new and we go to file geodatabase. Alright, so we'll rename this into, let's say, Abuja as well, and then we okay. So assuming that this is going to be our records of land parcels in the whole of FTT. It's an assumption anyway. I'm not saying that well in it. So the next we're going to do is to right click and we go to new. Then we create a future data set. So the future data set now will be parcels, right? Isn't it? It will be parcel, alright? So, and we'll click next. So Abuja is in zone 232. So since it's within just the Abuja, we'll just use zone 32 and we move on. Alright. So we have that created. Now, the next is to right click on the parcel and go back to new, and then you go to parcel fabric here down here. So it's going to be Abuja parcel. You can use underscore or you can leave them as a joint entity. Parcel fabric. So you can put underscore in between them, but you cannot put space. All right. So you click next. Now they're asking you, do you have a specific? Do you need to specify a configuration keyword? Let's say you have a keyword you want to do, so you just say this option use the default storage parameter for the new parcel fabric. This one you're allowed to specify your own. So I'm going to go with this one for now. But when there is a need for us to use the other options, I'll make a video for it. All right, so let's go next. Do you need to define a fabric information model? Now, I'm just going to use, since I don't have any parcel this for now, I'm going to use no or through. Then I'm going to finish. So this is using default data, like default settings as how Esri has made it to be. So there's no personalized. The other one is when you will be using, like, maybe based on your organization, your state, your nation. What are those things that the configurations they've agreed for theirs? That's when we use the second one. All right. So for now, we're only using the first one. So the last thing we're going to do for this video before we call it a day is you right click and then you see you can check information here. You can import another parcel into this. All right. And you can check the parcel fabric. You can basically do a lot of things within here. All right. So you see it has created a fabric in a line, polygon, point, table. So from here, all this other information will be keyed in when we start working on them. All right. So basically, this is how you create parcel fabrics
on ArcGIS desktop. So before we go further to name more on what this passive file address, we will also recreate this on